Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to talk about the Henry U.S. Survival AR-7. This here is the modern version of the AR-7, which was originally designed by Eugene Stoner himself and then produced in 1959, or adopted in 1959 by the U.S. Air Force for their pilots as a survival rifle. So this is the modern day interpretation built by Henry Repeating Arms based out of Rice Lake, Wisconsin, my neighbors to the east. And it's a pretty cool little gun. So designed for backpackers, bush pilots, that kind of stuff in the civilian market. This overall setup here is about 16.5 inches long. And as you can tell, there's no receiver, there's no barrel. That's because all of that is stored in the actual stock itself. So a receiver, barrel, 2 8-round magazines are included with it when you buy from the factory. So installation is pretty simple. Take out the receiver, slide it into this big groove here for the receiver. And there's a screw in the bottom of the stock that sometimes gets in the way. Then you just thread it together. It's a fairly long screw, so it takes a second to get it all the way in there and get it nice and tight. And then the barrel is a little over 16 inches long itself, and then on the very top of it does have a silver little tab here, if you will, or whatever, post. And that lines up with the top of the receiver here, and that way you know that you've got the barrel lined up properly. So get those lined up, and then just thread the barrel nut down on it. And I'm always really careful with it to make sure I don't cross-thread anything or start stripping something out. So yeah, receiver's tight, the barrel nut is now tight, and then like I said, it does have 2 8-round magazines in the stock here, so take that out. Boom. Overall length of this gun when assembled like this is 35 inches long, and before ammo it weighs 3.5 pounds total. So it's a pretty lightweight just package overall. The stock here is all ABS plastic. It should float, at least for a little while, and it should be water resistant with the cover on it. The receiver is covered in kind of a truck bed coating, if you will, a very thin version of that. And then the barrel is steel, but it's actually covered in ABS plastic as well. So everything should be fairly impact resistant and should handle the abuse of, Mother Nature pretty well. So yeah, you've got your rifle out. The magazine release is this little guy here. So you just press that thing forwards. Oh, there's the mag. Whoops. So yeah, you can just press it forward there. The trigger finger drops the mag out. And simple there. The charging handle actually sits in the receiver, that way when you put it in together in the stock, it can actually fit. So you just got to grab that, give it a pull, rack it back, and then your safety is here in the back of the receiver. Pretty straightforward. And then it does have a little peep sight here in the back to this front sight post. And this is, of all things I'm going to complain about on the gun, which isn't a lot, or if anything that I would complain, would be this front sight post, just because it's not actually fixed and you can move it back and forth. So you do kind of have to verify that it's centered up before you start shooting. And then the peep sight on the back here, you can loosen up this screw and actually flip it over if you want a smaller aperture versus the one that's currently showing. You can also slide it up and down to adjust your windage. So it does have some adjustments available to it. It is chambered in .22 long rifle, so you can carry a lot of ammo for a very light amount of weight. And then it does have a grooved receiver up here, so you should be able to fit a 3/8 scope ring on there. And then put a scope on it, something like that. Obviously with that on there, you wouldn't be able to store it in the buttstock. So if you do have a scope you want to carry for this, you'd have to put it on and zero it every time just to verify. Other than that, you're just using the iron sights, which isn't too big of a deal. But yeah, overall it's a really cool little gun, and I actually bought it for my brother as a present, but I stole it for the review, which is worth doing. So it's got about 500 rounds through it so far, and it's been pretty consistent. Rimfire ammunition's inconsistent at times. But you buy high quality ammo, it should work just fine for you. So over the weekend I shot the Federal bulk pack, like 325 rounders, and that was pretty consistent. I did shoot some CCI subsonic just for giggles out of it. It doesn't operate the blowback system because there's not enough oomph behind them. It was just kind of fun to shoot those, and I'll roll video in around me with that, or over me when I'm shooting those. I did shoot a little Winchester, that was okay, and then the best stuff that performed out of it over the weekend was some Herders, and that stuff said 1,300 feet per second, so a little bit faster moving. It seemed to operate the blowback system just fine using that stuff. That was the most consistent that I had found. ran that stuff consistently. Some of the overall specs of it, like I said, the barrel itself is about 16 inches, a little over 16 inches long. Overall length is 35 inches. The barrel does have a 1 in 16 twist. It does come with those 2 8-round magazines. You can buy a 5-round magazine if you're limited for hunting purposes, say, or if your state's limited there. Sorry about that. But those are like $21 or $22 off Henry's website. And then you can buy a 2-pack of these 8-rounders for about $42 from their website as well. So this one here is in black. The MSRP on it is $335. Usually you can find it in store for $290 to $319. And then they do offer 2 camo versions as well. Both are True Timber. One is Kanadi and one is Viper Western Camo. And I'll roll pictures in so you can see what those are. And they're between $340 and $370 for those, depending where you go. So shop around. Deals exist. You should be able to get it for a little bit cheaper. But like I said, kind of the overall intention of this is a backpacker, a bush pilot, somebody that wants to be able to carry a firearm with them in a survival situation with a bunch of ammo, specifically 22 long rifle, like it's chambered in. That way you can shoot rabbits, squirrels, all that kind of stuff, and survive. So it's a unique, cool design. I just read tonight that it was designed by Eugene Stoner, the father of the M16, so that's kind of a cool little feature as well. And Henry has been producing them since the mid-2000s, and it seems like it's pretty good quality. This one was built in 2022, and like I said, we're 500 rounds in and no issues so far. So pretty cool, pretty sweet little gun. Like I said, the only thing that I would maybe change is that front sight to something more permanent if possible. I don't know if it's maybe got some flexibility so when it goes into the buttstock, it fits in there or what, but the only thing that I really change on it, I guess, is that front sight. Gripping, it's a little unique just because there's no fore end to grab onto, so I just kind of tuck my hand on the top of the mag and I don't really put pressure on the magazine. I just keep it under the receiver in the barrel and then just look down the peep sight and away we go. So fire, safe, yeah, it's a cool little gun, something unique. Like I said, I bought it for my brother but stole it for the review. So that is the kind of quick review on a Henry AR-7. Cool little gun if you're looking for something unique for your collection, or if you are a backpacker or something like that. If you have any experience with one of these, if you own one, if you've carried it, drop that in the comments. Let's see what you think of it if you have more experience with it than I do. Beyond that, we just topped 400 subscribers the other day, so that's pretty cool. The views are where they are. Hunting season is now over. We had a pretty successful hunting season, but now I'm looking forward to actually getting back and focusing on this content a little bit more and trying to produce better stuff for you guys. So we appreciate all the viewership and all the support we've had so far. Like I said, you got a Henry AR-7, drop your experiences in the comments. We'll talk about it there. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.